A true community is not just about being geographically close to someone or part of the same social web network. It's about feeling connected and responsible for what happens. Humanity is our ultimate community, and everyone plays a crucial role. It's a quote I found by Yuda Burge. Today I'm speaking with Annie V, and she was one of the very first podcasts that I created during the first lockdown. Annie is the founder of Women on Walks, which is a group set up on Facebook for women who like walking in and around Melbourne in a safe and happy environment. When I originally spoke to Annie, she had 1,900 followers in that group, and now the group has grown to over 7,000. Hello, Annie. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Karen.
You were one of my original podcasts when we went into lockdown in 2020, and the podcast was called Walking Steadily with Purpose, and you've kept walking, I see.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. So what does community mean to you?
Oh, gosh. Well, it means everything, really, just to know that people are out there. And when you're struggling at times, there's a common interest that, we're all from a similar area and we can just talk to each other if we need to. But it's super important, I think. Very.
Yeah. Well, you've grown your community enormously. When we first spoke, you had 1.9 thousand followers, and I noticed this morning that it's 7.4 thousand followers. So congratulations, and there's obviously a need there. So how have you managed to grow to that extent?
Well, I think COVID in a way brought out a few extra people. Maybe they really needed to be connected, as you said. Connection's the most important thing. We had our 5K radius, and we couldn't go anywhere. And we had Facebook, and my page is on Facebook, and people pressed it, and they saw what other people were doing in their 5K area, and wanted to get involved with the little activities I had. I had little challenges to do, and these people would go out in their 5K walks and find red letterboxes or blue cars or something like that, and it just then they'd send their photos to the Facebook page, and we'd be connected. We'd say, oh yes, we saw 5 red letterboxes today, and so on. And you'd chat about letterboxes or numbers or something like that, and it brought someone from the other side of town together with some of us in Bayside. It was just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it as well, and I can remember looking at gates, and and I do always look at gates and plants anyway. But it really helped me focus in on those things, so it was really
Yeah.
inspirational. And I think at that time you said that there were lots of other groups starting around the world as well. That people had connected with. Has that continued?
Well, we've got quite a big following in Sydney. We've got some people in England who have got together. Some of them send their photos over to us, and there's two sisters, Claire and Judith, who often put photos up on their wall. Claire is here from Melbourne, and Judith is from Yorkshire, and they share their photos. And one of the ladies said, "Oh, your friends are doing a great job on Facebook sharing their photos." And I said, "Actually, they're not my friends. I've never met them before, but we all feel like friends because we've connected from people all over the world, which is just amazing, I think."
It is. It's certainly the quote that I read out at the beginning is that you don't have to be geographically close to create a community or a network, and it's about the feeling of connectedness. So I think you've really managed to tap into that, and for people to have a common interest.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, we've got someone doing the Camino at the moment, and she's sending in her photos, and people are getting enthusiastic about that. And we had our Judith from Yorkshire send some autumn photos in this morning. So it's really nice getting things like that. Feels like we're out and about more than what we really are.
I was just writing a post before saying it's almost like virtual reality, isn't it? When you sort of follow other people's journeys. Yeah. So what's been your favorite walk?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's really hard. There's too many. I really do like them all, including the beach and bush is really, really nice. Hastings was a real surprise. There's a beautiful boardwalk down there that goes for about 4 or 5 kilometres, and people had no idea. And it goes through all the mangroves, and it's just stunning. But then there's Beacon Cove and Middle Park, and the bush along Canterbury Road, and the beach, and no, there's just too many. But even the local area around our golf courses in Bayside and along Ricketts Point and everything, it's just everywhere is wonderful. It's really good getting to know so many little pockets everywhere. Really good.
And do you still do your research, or are you starting to repeat some of the walks?
I did repeat some of the walks, but I've got about 12 ready to do. I've just got to find the time and get there and do it. But we've got, we did a new one. I did a new one last week. Moorabbin Airport, really surprising, but a lot of people don't know they can walk right through Moorabbin Airport and go to the museum and see lots of things, the control tower and so on. So I'm doing that one on Sunday, this Sunday again, because we do one on a weekday and one on the Sunday. So we're off Moorabbin. That's about a 12K walk, nice and flat, and it goes through Kingston Park and little Kingston Botanic Gardens, and it's just different. I love.
But it is. It's great. I know the funny thing, we walk every day to go for a coffee in the morning and things, and not quite as far as your groups go. But even sometimes just walking on the other side of the street and looking at the houses from another angle, you see things so differently. It's a tiniest little thing, but can make a big difference. So, yeah.
Yes.
So what changes have you seen in conversations or within the group since post-COVID and current and now? Are people still, stuck in what COVID was about, or are they getting more hopeful, or what sort of conversations do people have?
We don't have much on COVID, because I actually said on our page at one stage, people were starting to write about people being jabbed and keeping away from each other. And I said, let's keep this just about walking and just about connecting through walking and the communication we have there. So people don't talk about COVID. We just talk about, oh my goodness, women talking. There were 25 women talking the other day. We just talk about anything and everything. And COVID isn't really on the list, which is really good.
That's refreshing, isn't it? Really,
it's
really.
an escape. And but I've noticed the difference, I think, is that people are actually connecting and wanting to do more things. We had one lady on Tuesday, a Russian lady. She's brand new, first time walker. She connected with a woman, and they're going out to dinner in a few weeks' time. And they only met each other on Tuesday, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then there's another woman who has organised a dinner and dance night for this coming Sunday. She's got about 10 people from the WOW group going off and a dinner and a dance together. And I think it's happening more now, even though we know we couldn't do that a few years ago, but we can now, and it's continuing. So I'm really pleased about that. I love seeing that.
It's fantastic. And I'm not sure, have you actually met Glenys Reid yet from Chatty Cafe Australia, or had contact with her? So I did a podcast with her just recently, and she's also going to speak at the Your Time Matters dinner at the end of the month, which is about the value of connection, conversation and community. And Chatty Cafe is a not-for-profit that organises groups within cafes. So you can go to a Chatty Cafe and there's a facilitator or a volunteer there who helps just to start the conversation. And the same things happen to them. They've found that they've got people who want to go to the movies together, or creating connection. So there is definitely a need and a desire to be connected. So
one of the women called Penny in the WOW group told me about that and how she volunteers there, and she said it's absolutely fantastic. So that's a great connection.
I actually saw Penny's post the other day, and I have sat next to Penny on a train coming home from an event several years ago where I facilitated a networking event, and we had quite a long conversation. I don't even know if she'd remember, but she had been the secretary or assistant to a very close family friend of ours. So, it really when you get talking to people, there are so many social webs and connections. It's another incredible thing about connection. So what's the plans for 2023 for WOW?
Well, still the same thing, walking and talking and having our coffees and finding a local loo close by and free parking and all that. But also, a couple of years ago, we tried getting a breast cancer walk together, 21K half marathon, starting at a park called Victory Park. I thought that was a good name, Victory Park in Patterson Road, Bentley, walking all the way through Bayside all the way to St Kilda and back again, and it's 21 k's. And I've got that ready to do when we find an appropriate date and when we can do it. So that's one of the big challenges we're going to do next year, but also keeping our walks going and doing at least 2, 3 or 4. And also during summer, we're going to do some twilight walks again because they seem to be very popular, 6:30 till 9 o'clock or so. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like, well, maybe I'll get to one of those because I really would like to join in. And I know quite a few people, I see them in the group and I know them. So it'd be great to catch up. So,
Yeah.
so I really look forward to that. So
Yeah.
as you know, at the end of these conversations, I ask you a mystery question. So this one's a bit of a tricky one. So what could you teach me in 60 seconds?
What can I teach you in 60 seconds in this particular area that you are? Okay.
You can choose.
Oh, that's well, I could teach you to be more patient because we can all be more patient. I can teach myself that as well. I could teach you that you can achieve anything you really want to do because that's proven by a lot of women who've been on these walks who didn't think they could cope. I could prove that you're tougher than you really are. And I can prove that women can do anything.
Oh, I'd like that. So what would be the first step that I would have to take to be more patient?
Think about your answer before you say it. Wait 10 seconds, like I used to say to my children. Just wait 10 seconds, then say it. And just think of how grateful your life really is, how lucky we really are, and that to be impatient, we've really, really got nothing to be impatient for. Even if we're on hold, we can always get around and do something if we're on the phone. So yeah, patience is a virtue, as the saying goes.
Absolutely. Well, it's wonderful to talk to you again. And I know you're off on holidays tomorrow. Are you going to do some walking on your trip?
Absolutely. And I will be sending photos into my wild group so they can be nice and jealous because I'm very jealous about all these other women walking around everywhere.
And where are you off to?
Samoa.
And what are you hoping to do there?
Nothing much. No, lots of walks. There's beautiful beaches. Actually, we were told we must go to church on Sunday because the gospel singers there are just amazing, and walk the streets with the kids. I'm really looking forward to doing that. Just mingling with the locals. So that's
Wonderful.
really, yeah.
Well, I wish you a wonderful trip and lots of happy walking and a very successful 2023. And it's great to catch up again.
Right.
And have you got a closing quote for me this time?
Well, when our time on earth is done, I've got it written down because I say it in my head many times. When our time on earth is done, money or material things just don't matter. But the love and time and kindness we're given to each other will shine on forever.
That's why my business is called Your Time Matters. Well done. Thank you very much. And so lovely to catch up again. Thank you.
Very nice. See you later. Bye.
Thank you.